All right, so I'm gonna get right into it. Um, this video is gonna be about slowing down and, you know, just about being busy. Kind of like the concept of being busy and that whole thing. So basically, for background, this is my senior year in high school, and the beginning of this year was it kind of went in waves, right? So there was like the first part where, I was just getting adjusted to being used to being a senior. Had all the freedom, got out of class early, and all that type of stuff. And then, so that was like, like a up. You know what I mean? Like, it was just super easy, super chill. Um, I kind of just was hanging out, enjoying having the freedom, like the new freedoms of being a senior, and all that type of stuff. And then college admissions hit. And so, I was lucky because I had already worked on my college essay during the previous summer. But during this part, uh, the whole college admissions process, began like I say, a month after, first being introduced to being a senior. And so that whole process was crazy. Like, I had so much stuff going on during that time. I even like wrote about it a little bit. I had like I still had summer baseball stuff going on with practices and everything. I had school to worry about. I had the I had the gym I was doing, um, business, like trying to figure out business, starting business with my friends. Um, I had family to worry about. I just had, other sports, other obligations. I had work. Another thing that was, big. I was working like 3, 4 days a week. On top of all of that, I had another college course, which was new to me, at normal psych, at the local community college. I was doing dual enrollment. And on top of all that, college admissions, which was probably one of the most stressful times of my life during a year where, senior year gets hyped up so much, like, oh, like you have all this freedom, it's chill, no classes, like all that stuff. That was probably the most stressful time ever in my life, hands down. Had all that stuff going on. And looking back on it, I really regret it because I never appreciated that time period in my life other than right before all that stuff happened. Like when other than like when I was first introduced to being a senior, like we had senior sunrise, we got out of classes early, like all that type of stuff. Like I appreciated them, but then when everything hit, when college admissions started, that was like that during that time period up until, a month or two ago when it kind of stopped, I got all my college admissions in, was the most stressful time of my life. And I just remember, like, looking back on it now, that time period was just blurry. Like, there's just a section of my senior year, right? Like, I worked so hard to get here, fourth year. A section of that year that's just like it just seems like it's missing. Like, I lived it, but I never appreciated it. I was like it's just blurry. It's fuzzy. Like it was there, but it was just fuzzy, and like it just feels like I missed out on a whole chunk of my senior year. And looking back at it, I mean, that's just how things were at the time. But also, it just kind of made me reflect on the whole concept of being busy because during that time, I would leave early in the morning, like, school starts at 7:30, right? So I'm waking up by 6, and I'm not getting back at the house until like sometimes like 10 o'clock because I'd be out literally the entire day doing everything, right? And like obviously I have two siblings, like my brother and sister, they're in school and everything. And so I never really saw them. I mean, I was just out of the house so much. Like, I just was barely seeing my family. It was, like, looking back, it was just really bad. And towards the end of it, I kind of realized that. I was like, oh, busy, busy, busy. Like, like, it's good to be busy. It's good to be, like, being productive with stuff, like, with the business and schoolwork and college admissions and work itself and the gym and, like, trying to prioritize all these things. It was like, it was too much. And I never stopped or learned anything to appreciate like that time period, even as busy as it was. Never like slowed down and stopped and appreciated the time period that was in, as stressful as it was. And looking back, that's kind of something that I regret I didn't do, but honestly, I can't really blame myself because that was the first time I'd ever had to deal with so many things at the same time. And so, like, looking back on it now, it's like I wish I had those skills, but there's really nothing I can do about it. And so, like, going back to like what was going on. So, like, during that whole time period, I was just so busy, like, out of the house constantly, constantly, constantly. My stress meter was like through the roof, and it was affecting like so many things. Like, my relationship, like, with my family members. Like, I was just constantly tired and mad, like, getting on everybody's nerves, even with my friends too. Like, that time period, like, and for everybody, like, it was busy, but for me especially, like, I never had to deal with anything that stressful before. And so, like, figuring that whole thing out, and, just trying to get through it and, still have meaningful relationships and all that type of stuff. It was big struggle, and it was affecting so many things. Like, and I was going to make other videos on this, but, like, one, my stress was up, so my sleep was terrible. Like, I was not getting enough sleep. That affected like, my mood, my anger, like, not like anger, but like my mood and, how I was interacting with other people. So then I was getting into more arguments, like, with my friends and stuff. And then, it's just a whole like cycle. And it was just so busy, such a busy time. And, like, I felt like I had to be doing everything. Like, there wasn't a second in the day where my mind wasn't thinking about another thing in the future, so, like, planning something, like, and that's just, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because the way that my mind works is I have to plan out everything, like, just organization for organizational purposes. And, like, every thought that comes to my head, like, I don't want to forget it, so I have to, like, write it down or something, like, in my notes and something. That's something I'm trying to work on, like, letting, like, little minor thoughts go and stuff. But that was just one thing that was, during that time with everything going on, there was not a time where I wasn't thinking about the next event that was going on that day, the next thing, and the next thing. And you look at my calendar during that time, because I was putting stuff in there, and it was just crazy. Like, it was like I was just bouncing from one thing to another, bouncing from one thing to another, bouncing from one thing to another. Like, I didn't take a single second in the day to stop. It was like, boom, day's gone. Head to bed, 5 hours. Next day, wake up, boom, day's gone. And, like, that continuously kept happening, until I started to, like, really be like, all right, like, this is enough. Like, this is not good. This is, I'm getting overloaded here with stuff. And it was hard because, like, all of it was within my control. Like, all the stuff I wanted to do was in my control. But I wanted to prioritize everything. Like, I wanted to prioritize everything was important to me at that time. And it felt like if I didn't prioritize one thing, that was going to negatively affect something else in my life, which was going to negatively affect something else. So I was, like, really in a chokehold with, like, all this stuff that I need to prioritize and do with my life. And it was just really, really tough. And so the reason why I'm making this video here is because I feel like I'm kind of slipping back into that again right now. And so after that, like, the whole college, I got all my stuff in, I kind of winded down, like, kind of got back to normal, and like my schedule kind of spaced out, and I started prioritizing important things. Like I'm gonna make another video on prioritization, but I made it start prioritizing like sleep more, getting to bed earlier, which helped a ton like with my mood and everything. Because like I didn't realize how big of a difference like getting enough sleep was for me personally. So I started going to sleep more. My schedule with college and everything, like my whole CCBC course kind of winded down. I finished that up. My college admissions kind of finished up. And so I had a lot more time, but also I was, you know, like keeping that time open for other things that may pop up in the day. And so during that time, after, what kind of winding down, like I don't know, I was a lot happier. Like I was appreciating things more. I was kind of slowing down, like, and appreciating the day. So going back to like the purpose of this video is just because I feel like I'm kind of slipping back into that busyness period again. And I want to just use this video as a way to just like stop, like slow down, take a deep breath, like just reset and know that I can prioritize, like I can choose what I want to do with my time. Like I can choose if I want to, set up, not set up, but like go to the, you know, hang out with my friend, 3 different friends for this week and plan it all out and, have that busyness schedule, right? Or I can just be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to prioritize these couple things. That's what I'm going to leave room for in my schedule. And if anything else pops up, I can work around it. And kind of leaving time in my schedule open and not feeling like I have to jump from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And I feel like that's what gets me all like sped up in a way, like with my head, like jumping from task to task, like thinking, oh, I'm being productive, when in reality, like I'm just missing I'm just missing the moment, like being here, like this is senior year, like this is it for me until I go off to college. And so it's like, I don't want to slip into another one of those periods of time where everything's like all sped up and I'm just jumping from task to task. Cause I feel like that's what I've kind of slipped back into these past couple of weeks with everything. And so one of the decisions I made was to take just do 1 day a week for work, because that was another big time commitment. And I feel like that's gonna help a little bit. Just with time, like I don't have to commitment 3 days a week, 4 days a week, every week. And so it's just like freeing up time in my schedule just for everything and just kind of bringing myself back. And one thing that I noticed that helped me like just slow down a little bit was just taking like 3 times per day just to take a deep breath, couple of deep breaths, stop, pause what I'm doing, and then just be like in the moment and just be like, okay, you know, slow down. Time isn't moving right now as fast. You can just slow down, chill, appreciate where you are, what you're doing, what you're grateful for, and just like stop basically with everything that's going on if I'm so busy or whatever. And that's what this kind of video is for. It's just for me to, almost as a benchmark, just to be like, hey, stop, slow down. You can control your schedule. You don't have to do everything, and just prioritize the things that are important to you right now and appreciate it, because this year's almost over. I mean, hey, it's second quarter right now. Like we're almost done second quarter, heading to third quarter. Baseball season's gonna start soon. And so it's just like slowing down, and I'm just trying to set a benchmark to appreciate these next couple months, because I mean that's gonna be it. And I just don't want to slip into another one of those, periods of time where everything's just moving so fast. And I'm not, like appreciating all the moments or whatever. And so I think moving forward, my goals are going to be to pause at least 3 times per day, slow down, take a deep breath, realize what I'm doing. 2, recognize and be conscious of the fact that I don't have to plan everything out exactly how it's going to be in a day. Get the big stuff down, obviously, but I don't have to put every little thing in that needs to be done. Like, figure out, like, what is, more important. Like, not planning. Sorry, I just came back from the gym. One of the craziest leg days of my life. I can't even move right now. But, and not have to plan for everything big in my schedule. And then also as things get busy, because that's how life is. I mean, like, it's not always gonna be chill. Like, you can come home, do whatever you want to do, like that type of stuff. But